It's 7 in the morning. I can't sleep, and well, it's actually 7:15. 8 a.m. The supermarket opens, and we don't have a lot of breakfast at home, so I thought that I would head over there when they open. But before that, I don't have much to do, so I'm gonna film a little DVD update for you. Um, I was gonna do this later today anyway, so why not do it right now? I just a little side note or whatever. I'm starting school on Monday. It's Wednesday today, so in 5 days I start school again after about 3 months of break. Which if mixed feelings, but ultimately I feel good about starting again. However, I say this. I've said this for a year now since I started school last year, but I need to get my sleeping schedule on track. I mean, I can't really keep doing this. I don't know how, but it's gonna be difficult to get up the first few days after not even being able to fall asleep at 7 a.m. Anyway, I thought that I would start with a couple DVDs that I might not have shown you before. Maybe I have shown you most of these before. Yeah. Anyway, this one I don't know. Well, this one is called The Devil's Playground, or just Devil's Playground. It's a documentary about, in the Amish tradition or whatever, there's something called Rumspringa, which means that when the Amish teenagers, they're 16 years old, they do this Rumspringa, and they go outside of the Amish household or whatever, and they live in the English world, which they call it, and they wear English clothes, and they can decide from the age of 16 to 21. They can decide whether or not they want to stay in the Amish church, or in the Amish church. Do you say that? Well, in the Amish, living in the Amish lifestyle or whatever, and it's about those teenagers making that choice, and they do a lot of partying, and that's a lot of it is just partying and people, inappropriate behavior. No, but what they do that they don't get to do before. It kind of focuses on that a little bit. I don't know. I thought that I didn't like it very much. I thought it was just okay. I had high hopes for this. To be honest, the parts in the actual Amish, showing the lifestyle of the Amish people when they go about with their lives, I thought that was more interesting to watch than the Rumspringa. I thought that I would like that one more, to be honest. You know what? Why not just do all the documentaries first? We got Not Quite Hollywood. The Wild Untold Story of Exploitation. Have not seen many exploitation movies. However, after seeing this, I did order 2 of them. They that were featured in this movie. It's one of those documentaries where there's a lot of and that might make sense too, or it might not be that hard to guess, but where a bunch of directors, actors, filmmaker people are interviewed talking about the exploitation phenomenon, and in between that and over that they show, mainly over that, as they're talking, they show clips. I'm sure you're familiar with that. They show a bunch of clips from movies and stuff. Start with introducing the thing a little bit, then they go through movie by movie, a bunch of notable titles in the genre, and they have people involved talk about that movie and their experiences with the movie and stuff like that, and you don't really have a chance to breathe. About 2 hours, no, actually not 2 hours, 1 hour 40 minutes, you're just bombarded with clips and facts and statements and subjective subjectivities, and just you know, the editor must have had a hell of a job making this. I mean, you know what I mean. That doesn't have to be a negative thing. It did put me off slightly in some parts. I did like it though. Just overall, not. Yeah. Well, anyway, I did like it. And I did watch some parts of this again, like I believe the next day, because I felt like some stuff I had missed. There's no subtitles, and I just didn't catch everything. So I just you know, saw some of it again to sort of to like to see if there was anything that I missed that I might you know profit from knowing, or you know. It's yeah, I like it, but I can't say that it's one of the better movie documentaries of this kind that I've seen. At least not personally. It's good. It's well made, and a lot of interesting stuff in here. But ultimately, not great, but good. Quentin Tarantino is one of the people who's interviewed, who's not part of the scene, who wasn't part of the scene himself. I believe one of the few people actually. But he knows a lot about it, and he's Quentin Tarantino. You know, if he wants to be in it, talking about the exploitation genre, I guess the filmmakers gladly will let him. And he plays, as far as when interviewed goes, a fairly central part of this documentary. He returns multiple times and shares his opinions and ideas and whatever. Okay, this one I watched 2 days ago, I think. Yeah, anyway. It's Burma VJ, reporting from a closed country. First of all, I'm just going to mention that I tried to pull this sticker off. It did not work. It did take some of the actual cover with it. Fortunately, it is showing a slipcover, so I have the DVD here. Well, that wouldn't have happened on the DVD because there's plastic, and can't take the plastic with it because that doesn't work. But I just hate when they put stickers like that that you can't remove. You take a risk each time you try to remove them. I usually take that risk. Usually it works out fine, but this time it had there was some bad results. Anyway, this movie is about. And to be honest, the only thing I knew about Burma before was the fact that there is a word or a name called Burma. I had no idea what it was, so I will share my ignorance with you. But Burma, yeah, it's a very large country in Asia, and they are very, what's the word? Secluded. They're very. It's like an everything but democratic regime, and this movie is about, mainly consists of footage shot by people trying to get the message, or not the message, but trying to get the truth, overseas, and trying to get it, ship it, trying to send it to other countries and to let everyone know what's going on in Burma, and it's about mainly one guy. You never really see him though. He's always shown in the shadows, or in the distance, or by profile, or with his head down or something. So you never really get a great idea of how he looks. I'm not sure if that's intended, if he didn't want to be revealed. You kind of do see him, but I don't know if it was something like that. Some names names of places and persons has been changed. So, but anyway, yeah, it's about what's going on in there, and these people, they have something called Democratic Voice of Burma, something like that. It's I don't remember what it was exactly, but it's a group of people who film what's going on, and then they ship it, I think, to Oslo in Norway, and then Yeah, most of the footage in the movie is that actual footage that these reporters film, and it's very interesting. Took a little while to get going, I guess. But when it did get going, I thought it was very interesting, and some stuff in this one is very violent, very some disturbing stuff. But very good, very good documentary, and I learned something. This footage was eventually aired by CNN and BBC also, which is in the movie. Um, yeah, I could have talked about that one a bit more in depth or a bit better, whatever. But then we have this one I actually just watched. This is the last of the documentaries. Um, it's The Wild Parrots of Telegraph Hill. This was a bit hit and miss, mostly miss. It's about a guy called Mark Bittner. He is he lives in San Francisco, and he takes care of these wild parrots of Telegraph Hill. He lives there, doesn't pay any rent. He doesn't squat. He just happened to have been able to work something out where he doesn't need to pay rent, and he lives there, doesn't really work, and doesn't have a job. Most of his time he dedicates to taking care of these parrots outside of his. I believe it was pretty close to where he was living. He takes in some of the parrots into his house, and he just loves these parrots, and he takes care of them, and that's what the documentary is about. I I like seeing documentaries about people living eccentric lives, unusual lives, and this is fits into that category. But something about it just didn't feel. Most of it just wasn't that interesting. I like seeing him with the parrots and just doing his stuff, but there was quite a lot of background and history on him, Mark, and him sharing stories, memories, stuff like that over footage. And I found myself not being able to follow. I mean, it wasn't complicated or anything. I wasn't interested, and my just attention just faded or whatever, and I multiple times, and I just found myself not really remembering what he was talking about, and that's not a good sign, I guess. I just didn't find it that interesting. It's a nice movie in some ways, touching, and in some parts it's visually beautiful too, but I didn't like it that much. I like the DVD because it has a picture of it, of that has to do with the movie inside here. Usually they just put nothing. They do just a blank, just white, or it's advertisements of movies. But here there's parrots. This DVD is also the definition of bare bones, because in the menu you have play, not play film, just play, and that's it. Nothing else, nothing more. And yeah, the woman who made this, Judy Irving, she's the producer, the director, the cinematographer, and the editor. And there's also something very interesting in the ending with her, which I was like, what? I'm not gonna spoil it. It's actually a bit of a spoiler, I guess. But yeah, I thought that was interesting how this ended. That's the documentaries. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more brief about the next ones. Lonesome Jim, I watched this yesterday, and this is a rental DVD, but it's new. I guess they make a bunch of rentals, and not all of them are used as rentals, and some of them are being made for sale. And yeah, so Lonesome Jim, directed by Steve Buscemi, it has a good cast. It's with Liv Tyler, Casey Affleck, Seymour Cassel is in this. and Mark Boone Jr. as well from Sons of Anarchy. Small text. Oh yeah, Kevin Corrigan. I believe that's him. Must be him from. I always think of Grounded for Life. Honestly, I don't know his name. I forget his name, but it must be Kevin Corrigan. Unless if that's not him, well, it's Eddie or whatever his name is from Grounded for Life. Anyway, this movie was good, pretty good. Yeah, I definitely liked it, and looking back on it, yeah, some great characters, and pretty touching actually. So then we have The Attic, The Hiding of Anne Frank. This movie, I believe, is based on and I have said her name before, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so I apologize if I pronounce it wrong. But Miep Gies, who protected the Frank family. It's based on her autobiographical book about. Actually, I have it here somewhere. It's based on this book. So, and I read it obviously, and I recognize a lot of the stuff in here. And it stars Mary Steenburgen, something like that. I think she's married to Ted Danson, actually, but that doesn't matter. But she stars as Miep. And I thought that was just a little misleading because it's called The Hiding of Anne Frank. It's more like The Hiding of the Frank family. It's not really about Anne Frank. It's about more about Miep and just the whole event. And speaking about the whole event, it's pretty short. It's 96 minutes, and I felt that was too short to tell a story like this. I mean, from the time that they go into hiding to when they're discovered, it just feels so brief and so, undetailed or whatever. It just feels like, well, they should have probably made this into a longer movie. Well, I mean, there are longer versions of it, not of this movie, but of other adaptations, and I might check that out. Something that I was thinking about when I watched this was that the actor who plays Otto Frank was very old. I'm not sure why they used such an old actor to play the father. But anyway, yeah, I thought that it was pretty good. Definitely not perfect. I'm sure there are. Well, I'm not sure, but there might be better adaptations of this, better movies where they tell this story. I mean, if there's not, then maybe they should look into making another one, because there needs to be, I think. Anyway, that's that. Then we have a completely different movie, Pure Luck. Martin Short, Danny Glover. Not a great movie, but it has some pretty funny stuff, and it's one of these 80s. Actually, not. It's 1991. But one of those comedies that has this certain vibe that I tend to enjoy. What vibe I'm talking about? Well, I can't really explain that, but it's this certain type of vibe in 80s and early 90s movies, comedies. Yeah, was okay. Then we have a movie that I'm looking back on this one, and I feel like it's not bad actually, but I'm not sure. I wasn't a big fan of it. Le Chef, French comedy. It's basically about Michael Youn. His character. He is very enthusiastic about food and gastronomy. I didn't know about that word before actually, so I learned a new word from this movie. Molecular gastronomy, I believe they called it. That's just fancy food cooking, fancy food making. And he is super snobby when it comes to food, I guess you could say, and he just can't keep a job because of it, because he just needs to be in control and whatever. But Jean Reno, his character, he needs someone to work for him. Well, and they just he sees how good he is, and he wants him to work for him. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It was okay. Jean Reno, by the way, his character is a very famous chef or cook, and he owns a restaurant, a 3-star restaurant, and he has a cooking TV show as well. Next one is The Answer Man, which started out pretty good, but then as it well, pretty much the last part of this, or the last third maybe at most, it sort of derailed a little bit, if you ask me. I didn't really like where they went with this movie. Felt very spiritual or whatever, and I was like, I don't know. But it's with Jeff Daniels, Lauren Graham, Kat Dennings is in this. It's about Jeff Daniels. He's written this book called Me and God or whatever, and but he hasn't. Nobody knows really what's going on with him, and I think he's been pretty silent for 20 years. And since he's written this book, Me and God, people ask him wants to ask him questions about religious topics, and they think he knows it, which was something I thought was weird. That they seem to believe it. It came off as the characters seemed to believe that he actually was able to literally talk with God, and I was like, what? Of course he can't talk with God. Stupid people. No, but I just not great, unfortunately. Another movie which was not great, Eulogy. I watched this. Actually, Lonesome Jim I might have watched 2 days. See, now I'm all disoriented because it's early in the morning and I haven't slept and I can't remember, but this one I watched yesterday. Lonesome Jim. Yeah, I started 2 days ago and I finished it yesterday. I didn't watch the whole thing 2 days ago because I was too tired. But anyway, this one I watched yesterday. Eulogy. A good cast in this one. Hank Azaria, Zooey Deschanel, Ray Romano, Laurie Piper, I think. Well, I think that's her name. Sorry, Piper Laurie, and some other people. I thought this was pretty poorly directed. I think the director, I don't know who directed it, but Michael Clancy, maybe he didn't have a very detailed vision of what he wanted to make. It was very all over the place. I don't know. I didn't think the characters were very well introduced and developed. By the end of the movie, I still didn't really know where the characters were, where I had them, who they were as people, whatever. I don't know. Interesting in some parts, like when Piper Laurie. Actually, that's a spoiler. Let's skip that. A strange movie, kind of a semi-dark comedy, not that well made, to be honest. It was okay at best. Then we have a good movie, however, The Elite Squad, or Tropa de Elite. That sounded like. What language did that sound like? It's a Portuguese movie, and that certainly didn't sound Portuguese, or a Brazilian movie, actually, but they speak Portuguese there. Anyway, it's shot. It takes place in Rio de Janeiro. Pronunciation, and I guess it's shot there as well. I can't really explain the movie; it's too complicated. But it's not. Yeah, it's the slums, the favelas, or whatever they're called. Yeah, favelas, the slums that surrounds Rio. Certain illegal activities goes on there, and there's this police that, they're on the other side, and things are clashing, and there's different kinds of police too, and lots of shit goes down, basically. I have the second one too, which I'm looking forward to because it's supposed to be even better. Actually, it's supposed to be quite a bit better, and this one was good, so pretty brutal movie actually, surprisingly violent. Um, yeah, definitely rated R. You know. Anyway, this movie was charming. It's called. Oh shit! Last time I didn't know what this was called either. Anyway, I'm sure you'll be able to find it. It's with Gérard Depardieu and Giselle Casadessus. It's about Gerard Depardieu. He's sort of an illiterate man. He goes to feed the pigeons, or he goes to just be around the pigeons pretty much every day. He has names for them, pretty similar as, well, now I don't. Like in this one, this is real, but he has names for the parrots, and he has names for the pigeons too, based on just behaviors or just details in the appearance, just like in that documentary. But yeah, he goes to see the pigeons, and he meets her, an old 90, I think she was 95, very old woman. She also goes to see the pigeons, and after they first meet, they keep meeting at that same place, and the central topic of discussion is literature. Not always to his enthusiasm, because it's not for him. But she is very close to her heart, literature and books, and she knows, name a book, she will know it, And it's also about his life, not so much about her life outside of their meetings, but a lot about his life outside of their meetings. So it definitely stars him more than her. But anyway, yes, as I believe I mentioned, as I believe I started with, it's a very charming movie. Gerard Depardieu and Giselle Casadessus. I don't know who that is. I was gonna look her up. I remember now, but I forgot that. So I'll do that after this video. But they were both great, especially Gerard. He was very good in this movie. He pulled off his performance very well. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints. Not a great movie, but I liked it. Then we got a violent son of a bitch. Inside. Seen this before. This is from 2006. I might have seen this 4 years ago. That's my guess. I definitely like this. Maybe more than last time. Or well, actually, I gave this a 7 after I had seen it first, and that's what I gave it now too. So probably about the same, I guess. But yeah, I liked it. There are some things about this that aren't great, but those things is not what the movie is about, if you ask me. It's very violent, very well made, very sort of technically well made, or very gorily well made. There's one detail, one aspect of it. A lot of the movie takes place in a bathroom. She's hiding. This main character. He's hiding from this psychopath, and well, I guess she is. And throughout the movie, little by little, more blood is added to the walls and to the floor and everything like that, and not only in the bathroom but outside as well, and markings in the doors and stuff like that, and the way they progressively build that up, or the way they add a little bit more here and there, is very well made. They don't fuck it up. At least I couldn't tell any screw ups. And just how they managed to do that is very impressive. Yeah, I guess that's my best best explanation, or my best description, or whatever. But yeah, overall, I think it's a good movie. Yeah. Then we have a part of me feels like I watched this at the wrong time, because I didn't feel like watching something like this. But I didn't think this was great. It had some good parts, like in the ending there was a rather big monster or creature that I thought was very, very cool, and there's some fun stuff, but it was too obnoxious ultimately, I think. Dead Leaves. the animation is pretty not primitive. Well, it's very manga-ish. It's an anime, but they add pictures like as in comic strips, and they add let's see if I can't pronounce this word, poetical. I think I know the word in Swedish, but words throughout they print those onomatopoetical words on the screen or whatever. So yeah, a very short movie, 50 minutes I think, and I'm not gonna explain what it's about, but it's very fast paced, some very absurd and over the top humor, some pretty inappropriate humor too. So it's definitely not for children, and part of me likes it, but I just can't say that I ultimately appreciated this movie. Frankly, I was waiting for it to be over because I was not in the right mood to watch this. But that sometimes you're not in the mood to watch a certain movie, but they're so good and so interesting that you get in the mood or whatever. And this was just, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was purely because of the mood I was in. I just don't think that this was for me. So anyway, enough about that one. But not bad. Some good parts, but overall, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the animation. Anyway, this one, I can see why people might not like this, but I liked it. It's called Sweet Liberty, and it's a movie by Alan Alda, written and directed by Alan Alda, as well as starring Alan Alda. And it also stars Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Caine, Bob Hoskins, possibly someone else I'm forgetting about. Oh, yeah, I think there was some other person I like in this movie. I can't remember who it might be, but oh yeah, John C. McGinley. He's not in the movie a lot, and he's very young in this one. It's from 1986, so he's like, well, not very young. He's 28 maybe, but anyway, yeah, it's about Alan Alda. He's written a historical book about the Civil War, I think, and he has sold the rights for them to make a movie about it. And it's very early in the movie, the film team arrives, and which should come as no surprise, their vision of the movie is completely different. He wants it to be truthful to what actually happened, historically accurate. They just want to make money. They want to attract, teenage audiences who wants to see violence, tits, and nothing more. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's yeah. As I said, I think I can see why some people don't like this one, but I am a big fan of Alan Alda because of MASH, and yeah, I want to see more of his movies. And this one, I liked it. Then we have Taxidermia, released by Tartan. I've seen this before, and kind of thought I was gonna maybe like it a little bit more this time. I do like it. I liked it the first time, but I don't like it more this time. I don't like the first story as much as the second and the third. Although the second and the third, they're they're a lot more connected than the first is to either of them. The first is pretty much on its own, and then the second and third, they're more close to each other. Anyway, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the first one. I don't have a problem with weird stuff. It's just, in some cases, things are just... Oh, this sounds... I can't think of the word. Contradictory. But I think it was a little too weird for me, actually, the first one. I think that's it. Just some things, they put me off. Not because they're graphic, but just because they're weird. I don't know. I ultimately like this movie, but in a way it's weird. I think everyone has those movies, and I have a lot of them. That you watch the movie and you don't like it that much. You like it, but not you don't really love it. But then you look back at the movie and you kind of wonder, why don't I like this movie more? And this is one of those. But I don't know. Two left here. We have The Other Woman, or I believe it's called. Well, it doesn't say on here, but like Love and Other Impossible Pursuits or something like that. I thought this started out pretty good. I definitely liked where it was going, and I saw myself really appreciating this movie by the end. But after a little while, they, it feels like they're trying to, a little too desperately to reach out to the audience and touch the audience, and yeah, like there's a short monologue by the kid in this movie, and I'm like, fuck off. Nobody would say that. It stars Natalie Portman and Lisa Kudrow. Lauren Ambrose, although she's not in the movie that much. She's, the daughter from 6 Feet Under. Yeah, so where this movie was going, I didn't like, but where it started out, I liked. Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. I just thought that they tried a little too hard. I don't know. Then the last movie is Peter Greenaway's Drowning by Numbers. I read something which is nothing uncommon, but which I can very well imagine is true. It gets better with repeated viewings. Very good. Some very good scenes in this one. In fact, as it started out, I was like, "Holy crap! I love this movie." And then, happens often with me. I love where it's starting. I don't like where it's heading after a little while, which is too bad. I have a problem with something. But yeah, I'm gonna rewatch this someday and probably will enjoy it a little bit more. Pretty dark movie. Has what's her name? Doesn't say on the back either. I know her name. Well, it's her, and I'll just her right there, next to my finger. I like her a lot. She's very fun in this, especially in the beginning. Yeah, as I can't really be that critical or whatever. I really think I'm gonna like it more with a rewatch. So I did like it though, and it's yeah, I'll just go ahead and show you. I like the DVD artwork too, here and here. Nice colors and nice design and artwork. So yeah, I don't know why I need to do this before I end the video. Put it back in. Yeah, that's all for this time. Thank you for watching.